Hey, what's going on there, everybody? We are live. For those of you that have been able to go to work all day long, come home, maybe get some errands done, maybe get some dinner tonight, and now you're joining me. I want to welcome you to tonight's live stream of Civil 3D. Tonight we're going to be exploring Autoturn, which is within the vehicle tracking portion of Civil 3D, and I just want to go through some of the basics of it. I was actually working on this plan this afternoon, and just kind of wanted to go over essentially what I did. It's been a while since I've done some auto turns, so felt like this might be a good example to go through as it pertains to just showing the basics of how this thing works, how to get up and running with it, and we'll just go from there. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to refrain until after this little training session. Just want to get through the material pretty quickly, and we can go through some questions, and I'll look to answer them as best I can. So before we start, we got one message in chat. Hello, I'm from Egypt. It's very nice of you to go live and do this. We really appreciate it. Not a problem. I'll just do what I can. Hopefully this stuff helps you. There are little aspects of vehicle tracking. I don't know everything about everything as it pertains to vehicle tracking and auto turn, but we'll just go through the basics of it just to get you up and running with it. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now I've got just an industrial site right here, and I've got, if I click on this, I've got my vehicle tracking path. It basically shows a reviewer whether or not a large semi truck, or maybe like an emergency vehicle like a fire truck or something to that extent, will actually be able to circulate throughout your site. You'd hate to design your entire site and come to find out that emergency vehicles can't get to your building. So you want to make sure that you're doing a plan like this just to be on the safe side, just to make sure that that you're allowing for just large scale vehicles. In fact, there are a lot of municipalities, most municipalities, excuse me for the headset here, most municipalities will require something of this nature just to be able to, you give this plan. It's called like an emergency vehicle plan, could be a truck access plan. You'll supply this to a fire department, and they can give it the A-OK, whether or not it'll work for your site. So we'll get started. And currently I'm in Civil 3D 2025. Before I got on this live stream, I actually had to download the add-on for vehicle tracking. This did not come prepackaged for me when I installed Civil 3D. So you actually have to go to your Autodesk account, and then within your account under products, if you do a search for vehicle tracking, then it'll pop up, and then you can go ahead and go through the installation and go through the whole process with that. So just so you're aware, if you're not seeing this vehicle tracking tab up at the top, more than likely it's not installed on your software. So just be warned, just so that that things don't come as a shock to you. Just be sure that it's installed on your package of Civil 3D. So what I'm going to start off with is I've got this semi truck. It's a very, very large semi truck that I'm showing just the basic circulation of what this is going to do as it's going through my site. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move this off to the side. I'll move this one off to the side, move this off to 100,000. We'll move this off to 100,000. Is that 100,000? Yeah, something like that. Okay. So we'll see if this works for me. Okay, first off, when you're looking to get started, you hit the Vehicle Tracking tab, and then under Settings, you want to click that first. Okay. Then you get like this little wizard that kind of runs you through the process. And it says right here, it's important that the vehicle tracking knows the units of your drawing, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Most of this stuff is just, you're just letting Autoturn know. That's another name for this, Autoturn. You're letting Autoturn know what your units are, so we're good with that. We'll go ahead and click Next. And we've got our units here. We've got this. I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And then after that, we've got this Use a Layer naming convention. We've got that checked. That's good. We'll go ahead and keep that. Then click Next. Then some of this stuff here. To tell you the truth, I'm not too familiar with it. I just leave it at its defaults. You know, there's probably people out there that are watching this that know more than I do about this, but I'm just going to go ahead and click Next. Then we have our forward design speed, 5 miles an hour. That's fairly slow. Reverse design speed, 2.5 miles an hour. That's good enough. We'll click Next. Okay, vehicle tracking models the behavior of vehicles as accurately as possible. It incorporates no safety factors or margins of any kind. Steering is currently not limited. You may enable as many or as few of the following limits as you wish. I didn't select any of this when I first started this, so I just clicked Next. Same here. I didn't select any of this stuff. I just kept going. I didn't mess around with this. We'll click Next. And this is kind of important. If you're using Autoturn regularly, it says right here, use these settings for all new paths in this session only, which means that within this particular drawing, the new paths that you create, for example, for a specific truck, it's only going to associate that with this particular drawing. I'd kind of like to make this a default for all of my drawings. So I'm going to select this. Use these settings for this and all future sessions and make it the default. That's what I've done in the past. So I'll click Finish. Okay. So now we've gone through the wizard. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my auto drive. I'm going to select this. Then everything loads up. And we have just a crazy list of vehicles for you to choose from. You know, vehicles from different countries. I mean, it's just a lot going on. If you're looking for something specifically, you can go into the search and type in, say, fire. Everything related to fire. Let's see what we got. Here we go. For U.S. design vehicles, we've got an aerial fire truck right here. Shows us what this looks like. What else does this have? Show elevation. Yeah, it'll show us a little side profile right here. That's kind of nice. Little pumper fire truck. So what I typically do is I'll ask the project manager, what's the size of the truck you'd like me to use for this vehicle turn? Or for this auto turn? And I talked with my my project manager, and he told me he wanted a WB 67, I believe. And if I minimize some of this stuff, we went with statewide AASHTO. Just expanded this. Expanded the latest and greatest here. Okay, we've got all of these. We're looking for WB 67. Here it is, right here. It's a pretty decent size semi. We'll go with this. And in fact, I'm going to make this my default. And you can get into creating customized trucks and things like that. I didn't really get into that too heavily, and I feel like if I dive into that during this stream, you're going to see how out of sorts I am as it pertains to creating customized trucks. For right now, I just want to get up and running just with one semi truck and just show you all of the features as far as just designing the what they call a swept path, I believe. We'll make that default and we'll proceed. So we have the symbol for our semi, and typically in America, I want to come from this side of the road. Okay? All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and proceed, and I can begin to click a path that brings our semi onto the site, piece by piece. And we get to about this point, and I need to kind of bring my truck a little out like this, and then I'll begin to sweep it. I mean, I'm going all the way here. The angle of this path is pretty extreme, and it's not really allowing me to stay within the pavement. But you know what? I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm going to keep on going. Just going to keep on clicking around like this, even though we might be leaving our pavement. No big deal. Just keep going. Just try to keep it straight. Just try to keep it on the road, right? Just like that. And I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to press enter. Okay? So now, how do we edit this path to get our truck onto our pavement? Well, I'm glad you asked. We can do that by clicking on these grips. There's like these little grips, these little X's. Each one of these X's is essentially where I clicked. So if I select my path, I can click on these grips and start making adjustments. You know, you just start moving things around. Oops. And if you move things around to where it's too extreme and a truck isn't able to do this path, then you'll see everything will disappear up to that point. So what I'll do is I will continue to adjust these grips. And it takes a little bit of finagling. Actually, let me turn off my ortho. Yeah, I need to turn off my ortho. You see what's happening? As I'm moving this grip right here, see how nothing shows up, but then all of a sudden, the further I move inward, then my path comes back. Now we're back in green. I'll do that for this. Then I'll do that for this. See how it comes back? I'll do that for this one. And then what about this one? Will this work? No, I'm not getting my green path. Come on. Do I have to go extreme? Yeah, I have to go extreme like this. And this is a pretty decent sized semi. Like that. I'm going to bring this over like that. So you see how, as I'm adjusting these X's more or less, my path, when it's a correct path, when it's a path that the truck is able to perform, my path will turn green more or less. Okay? If I try to do something extreme, it goes away. But if I bring it back on track, Comes right on back. Okay? So now you can make the determination. You can see that we'd essentially be going over the curb if we have this kind of configuration, but who knows, maybe maybe you're okay with that. Maybe the rest of this area could be, I don't know, maybe it could be concrete pavement or something to that effect, or maybe you can just adjust all of these radii for your pavement, for your parking lot, in order to make it suit your swept path. And like I said, this is like an extreme sized semi. This is the biggest semi you can get. So maybe this is enough. I mean, can we make it a little bit tighter? Yeah, it gets tough. Yeah, you see how things start to disappear? Because it's getting too extreme again. How do I bring it back? Oh, it's starting to come back. Here we go. Oops. I'll undo that. So what I do is, again, I just more or less sort of play with these paths until I get something that I like. So keep on making these minute adjustments. There we go, that's a little bit better. There we go, coming back. Coming back again. There we go. And there we go. Comes right on back. So that's for a big old tractor trailer. What if we have our truck access plan? We basically have our plan, but we need to show a profile of the truck that we're using for our simulation. Well, the way that you go about doing that is you go into Model, and then I'll usually just zoom out quite a bit. And then there's a button right here to insert a profile. Select that, and we select our path. And up pops our profile. I'm going to put that off to the side here. And then within our viewport, I'll come in here. Is this a locked viewport? Locked viewport, yes, it is. I want to unlock this. I'm going to zoom out. There it is. Zoom in a little bit. Make this standard scale of 20. And there you go. Kind of gives you some dimensions of what you're dealing with. And there you go. Okay. Let me see here. We'll take a little break here. We'll take a look at the chat. Then we'll get into, maybe we'll do like a fire truck. Okay, Phil Johnson. If we subscribe to your channel, we have access to more specific classes or some classes to review some past videos, for example. Thank you. Yes, you do. With an all-access subscription, there are courses that are member specific. So if you're an all-access member, you get access to everything. However, if you're willing to go through maybe the pain of scrubbing through maybe an hour-long live stream session or an hour-long training session, there's videos like that are available as well. So, but what's nice about the subscription is you get access to all the classes. Plus, they're cut down into 3 to 5 minute portions, so you don't have to search through just an hour or 2 hour long training video. So hopefully that helps you. But I appreciate you stopping by, Phil. Is it Phil or Mr. Johnson or Miss Johnson? sometimes I get people from like all over the world, and sometimes it, like some of the names are kind of just a little bit different from my ignorant mind, to tell you the truth. It's just sometimes I can make the mistake of calling somebody male when they're female just based on their name, and I apologize if I do. But all right, let's move on. Where are we at here? We're about 20 minutes. Let's move on to fire truck. I'm going to move this off to the side. Oops, model space. So we'll do this one more time with a different truck. Move this to 100, 100,000. Okay, let's go with fire truck. Got a request for a fire truck. Go into vehicle tracking once again. And instead of selecting auto drive, I'm going to select this button right here for Vehicle Library Explorer, which basically gets us to that same window or prompt here. I'm going to type in fire. And then I'm going to go for US. I'm going to go for aerial fire truck. Then click OK. And so now I'm going to go into auto drive. Uh-oh. That's not the truck that I want. I'm going to go back into here. What if I double click that? There we go. Now it works. Okay, I'm going to start basically from the same spot. I'm going to rotate. Then I'm going to go ahead and proceed. We'll come around here. There's a fire. Got to take care of a fire. I'm going to come all the way over here. And instead of cutting across this way, what if I just, can I just go this way? Ooh, that's tight. That's a little bit too much. We'll just keep on going. Keep going. Even though it's a little bit of an overturn. Just keep going. Okay. So now I'm going to make some adjustments. I'm going to come in here and adjust. Oops. It looks like ortho is on. I want to turn ortho off by pressing F8. And you see that it was a little too extreme. It was too extreme, man. We'll move this over. There we go. That's working. Just making small adjustments to those little X's right here. See how you don't have to be perfect the first time out when you're doing this auto turn? You can make all of these adjustments after the fact. There we go. Right there. Move this over like that. It's looking pretty. Beautiful. And that's essentially it. What if I want to change the style of this? You see, like right now, the thing that really confused me when I first started to get into Autoturn was that, man, how do you adjust these layers? Because a lot of people have issues when, you know, I had this issue today, as a matter of fact. Had this issue today where I was looking to print and the colors weren't coming out right. I mean, it didn't look right. So I can come in here and I want to be able to adjust my colors. How do I go about doing that? I think it was Report Wizard. Yeah, I think it was Report Wizard. I can come in here and right now the report visible is body and chassis envelopes visible. I can make changes by going to advanced, and just, if you ever have time, just go poking around in here just to find out how you can turn, you know, different hatches on and things like that. I want to, there's a bunch of stuff that's highlighted. What if, man, there's a lot more here in 2025 than what I was working with this afternoon. I think I deal with Civil 3D 2022 at work. But let me select one of these items and select edit. And I have some options here. See, like right now for envelope. Right here it says show envelope. What if I check that off and click OK? What does that look like? And finish. I don't see anything happen. Let's try it again. Body and chassis envelopes visible. Yes. Advanced. Yeah, let's check this off. Let's check this off. Body and chassis envelopes. Man, there is a lot of options here. A lot of options. Safety zone, what is that? Edit. Yeah, I don't know what this is. What about this one? Well, my contact lenses are getting dry. They're getting dry. Okay, envelope. Hatch, there we go. This is it. What if I don't want the hatch? I can uncheck this, click OK, then click OK again, then finish, and it still shows up. Come on. How do I turn that hatch off? Maybe I need to type in path, properties. Select that. Reports. Yeah, maybe I don't want this. Body outline. Click edit. Envelopes. Yeah, here we go. Turn this off. Click OK. Then OK once again. There we go. Now we're digging where the worms are. All right, you see how buried some of this stuff can be? Oh my goodness. I mean, I was spending some time trying to figure out where these colors were. And you can't control the colors within your properties because everything is all on one layer. The vehicle turn, everything is on this ATR03 layer. So the only way to change these colors, like the green here, the blue here, the red, and so on, is through, I typed in path properties, and I select my path, and then I have to do some digging under reports. Select one of these attributes here, select edit, and it's all essentially down here. For my path, my envelopes, click OK. Construction lines. You might need to go digging in this area in order to find what you want. So we've got these attributes, these pens. It was just a lot for me to go through this afternoon trying to figure out where some of these colors were. Like this outer green right here. Where is that referencing? That outer green. I don't see a green anywhere. Got to be the path. But anyways, I don't want to waste too much of your time, but we're roughly at about 30 minutes. I think people might be bored to tears with looking at this stuff by now, but essentially, this is essentially where you look to find that information. I'll put it to you that way. I'll cancel out of this. Uh-oh, it looks like I did something. That green is no longer there. How did I do that? Path properties. Select my path. Reports. Path. Edit. Wonder where that was. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, does anybody have any questions for me in the chat? Let's see here. Is it possible for you to share any contacts where I can send my inquiries to you? What do you mean by that? Are you talking about questions? Because usually in the comments, there's a lot of intricate questions that pop up in the comments. I try to answer, the ones that I can, but sometimes the questions are about kind of like, it's almost like online technical support, and sometimes that can be a little bit intricate. But anyways, what about the profile for that fire truck? Just select my path here, put it off to the side, and there you have it. I'm going to select my viewport here. Display lock, no. Just going to double click in here and then zoom out a bit. There it is. Sometimes if you ever get into a situation where you're not able to find something within a viewport, say for example, it's just like, you create a viewport and here it is. All right. How do I find that little detail out of all this information, out of all this just junk? What I do is I basically kind of zoom into where I have an idea, where I see a bunch of stuff happening like this, and then I type in regen all, REA. And that'll begin to shrink things. REA. Here it is. Begin to find it. And then for the standard scale, I'm going to go with 20. And there you go. And that is essentially it. I think 30 minutes is good for the truck access plan. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I might be able to think of. There's a lot of other things. I mean, this whole vehicle tracking, I mean, we're just scratching the surface of vehicle tracking. This is the Autoturn stuff, but then there's all kinds of parking lot stuff that eventually I'll probably get into. But that way you can actually do some parking counts, and it'll just automatically do this stuff for you. And it's very, very neat feature, but there's so many little screws and things, so many different settings that you have to set up before you can kind of get things to look exactly the way that you want it to look. So that's what I have to dive into it a little bit before I can do a live stream on it. But let me see. Okay, is it possible for you to share any contacts where I can send my inquiries to you? Thanks. Yes, maybe by email. It's more about career advice. Yeah, if you want to email me at, I believe it's charles@civil3d.tv. You can go ahead and do that, and yeah, we can talk about things if you'd like to get in touch. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you're looking to, again, this is another promotional piece for a buddy of mine that I work with. If you're interested in learning from an actual civil engineer, I'm not licensed. I'm a designer, but I am not licensed. There is a licensed civil engineer named Griffin Furlong that has a YouTube channel, and he has just a load of videos just showing engineering items as far as the constructability of certain designs and things like that. And I think even this question right here about career advice, Griffin Furlong would be the person to talk to about that specifically for engineering. He'd be the guy. He's also on TikTok. I know that he does a lot of TikTok videos as well. So yeah, that's what I would recommend, to tell you the truth. So, but yeah, we're coming at about a little over a half hour. I think that there's another piece of earthwork stuff that I'd like to show, maybe sometime this week, or maybe this Saturday. Do another live stream and just kind of show you a little bit more about earthwork. I'd like to be able to kind of get into some other things other than just earthwork all the time, because people might get tired of it. But a lot of what I'm doing right now is just showing you what I do during the day. Like, for example, this stuff with Autoturn. Basically did this stuff this afternoon. I got a request for that. So the more requests I get from my own office, I'd like to be able to show you guys. I might not necessarily be able to supply you with the design files or downloadable exercise files, but I can at least show you on screen what we're doing and what some of these projects look like. So, but yeah, we'll leave it at about a half hour, and we'll see you during the next live stream. So take care.